Have you ever taken a course from a YouTube artist? And if so, did you feel you learned from it? Or let me caveat that statement. Did you feel you learned anything that you hadn't already from the artwork tutorials they put out for free on their channel anyway? Does anyone learn anything new from taking courses taught by YouTube art makers? And before everyone gets their pants too much in a ruffle, I want to exclude from this conversation any talk of artists or creators who have Patreon channels. I feel Patreon is actually a really good place to go and follow artists who make the kind of work you like. It actually is a built-in community within Patreon, and the fee paid monthly to join is usually pretty reasonable for the vast amount of tutorials you get out of it. I think art makers on YouTube really do great things with their Patreon channels on the whole, so let's be very clear about that.
Didn't that sound like an ad? It totally wasn't at all.
And I'm not bitter or anything, but I have noticed recently especially there are so many YouTubers coming out with courses. It's like even people who've only had a channel for, let's say, as long as I have, just your average person doesn't have a clue how to put out an entire course on whatever their channel is about if they've never made a course before. And if they are doing so, even without a clue, that's okay. You've got to start somewhere, but you shouldn't be charging, in my opinion, you should not be charging hundreds and hundreds of dollars for these courses. And oh my, did I get burned by one of these said courses. I'm going to tell you about that. This was about 3 years ago, and I was loosely following a YouTuber who shall remain unnamed. And this person said they could teach me loose florals and color theory and artistic flow and about 20 other things that I really wanted to learn at the time and still do, actually.
And that's because, unfortunately, YouTubers who are excellent at art aren't always excellent at teaching courses in art. They're no different from you and me. They're just people who like to make art and start filming themselves doing that. That doesn't mean that they know how to create a course and make it well put together and highly varied for different learners and all the kinds of things that you would expect in a course that costs $300 for 4 separate sessions of work. So in all, the course that I paid for from that YouTuber was going to be $1,200, and thankfully, she did refund my money as there was a full refund guarantee, and I did write her a positive review for that. But it's really unfortunate that people think just because they know how to make a YouTube video, they should be out here teaching courses. It just doesn't work like that. And that's because there are so many gurus out here that have channels where they teach people like me and you how to make a YouTube channel. That's great, but they also try to teach people how to get rich fast. And one of the ways that they teach people how to get rich fast is to charge a whole lot more money for a course than what it's probably worth. And it's not that these people are the norm, but they're out here saying this frequently enough that many people who aren't super discerning about how to do business and how to make sure that their followers are happy will often fall for this. And sadly, I've seen it work so many times. And for this reason, I am extremely hesitant to ever take a course from a YouTuber who isn't expressly trained in how to create coursework. And some are, and those are the ones that I would say go for it. Take a course from them. Not that I have any say in your life. You do you, girl. There's a YouTuber named Scott Waddell who paints in oil, so he can't do much to help me. But if you paint in oil, you might want to check him out. That's not what this video is about, but I just thought of it. Now, he is extremely well trained. He's attended multiple ateliers and also taught and currently, I believe, teaches at them. And I've listened to his whole story about how he came through the ranks as an artist and so on. And just in his free videos, he provides such a wealth and depth and breadth of information. And he also sells courses. And that he for me is an example of the sort of person that would be safe to pay decent money to learn from. But as for the situation with my course that didn't work out that we're talking about today, I really don't believe that this was an overt, intentional cash grab by the YouTuber. Rather, I suspect that this situation came as a result of another situation that's happening on YouTube a lot. I started taking a really close look at any courses I saw offered on YouTube and asking questions. And what I learned was that most of the time, people that make courses literally put them together using AI. And like, I got AI too, I can type in the information that I want to find and it'll give me the same stuff it's giving them. So I don't got to pay $1,000 for it. And you don't either. That's mostly why I'm making this rant, because after I was given my money back for the course, I kept watching the channel in question. And I watched the individual who learned to paint on YouTube just like I did by watching free tutorials over a period of years and essentially taught herself how to paint just by practicing and practicing. And then she turned around and sold that information in the least depth possible for so much money that it allowed her to build an entirely new studio, a new home, to self-publish a number of books, and like, capitalism, go girl, yeah, but also give people quality merchandise, Everything today is so cheap and so half bleeped. And it just feels like people are throwing it together 5 seconds before they have to go live with it. And I find that super disturbing. In this video that I'll try to remember to put in the eye, where I talk about facing some spiritual attacks and after we had been baptized last November, which was wonderful, not the attacks, but the baptism, and wanting to grow my art so deeply. It was kind of an all over the place life update sort of video. In the video anyway, I had made the statement that I didn't want to just learn from some YouTuber who had been self-taught like myself. I wanted to learn art and improving my art from somebody who either went to school to learn how to teach, understanding how to structure coursework, and understanding that people learn from different points of view and they need all kinds of different instruction in order to benefit the most. Or if that's not going to be offered to me, I at least want to learn from somebody who went to art school and learned the techniques in great detail and thus have a depth and wealth of knowledge to convey to me as the learner, So I feel that the sort of coursework I'm looking for is on one level. And then there are the Patreon videos, and the community that's formed while on Patreon is something I would absolutely partake in and plan to when I have the time to join a few different Patreons and similar platforms like Ko-fi and such, started by YouTube artists that I really love and that have a lot to share, but do so just by making videos, allowing the viewer to pick it up at their own pace, but the price tag is like $10 or less per month. This is also true on platforms like Skillshare, where you can go and pay $10 a month and take as many classes as you want. And if one stinks, you take another one. And hopefully it's structured a little bit better. The final category of classes out there is this one I'm talking about today, the sort where it's put together by a YouTuber. And this is just my impression, but I feel like at least most of the time, it's such a cash grab. You're sold a huge bill of goods and you get very little out of it. So my question now to you is, have you taken any of these YouTuber created art courses that are similar to what I feel was reflected in my experience, or have you had completely different experiences? And if you've had really good experiences, I would love to know who you took the courses from. If you can put it in the comments, that'd be amazing.
I will see you in the next one, and I hope you have an absolutely beautiful day. Bye-bye.
All hell froze when I try to push my way, but when I gave in, all life's good came running at me. With an open heart and mind and arms laid down, you're a wall of hate and arms let in the light of day, and let Jesus show the way. But hey, I'm not religious and I'm old since I can't stand the